Coming up on 10 News tonight, Bush is asking for more money from the Democrats.
And a 2-year-old girl is beaten to death because of her manners.
As always. And we are live outside. We're at Hewitt Union here. The snow is just again starting to fall. We'll tell you just how much accumulation we can expect later in the show.
And tonight in sports, police have no suspects in the murder of Sean Taylor, and Phil Jackson extends his contract with the Lakers.
Good evening and welcome to 10 News Tonight, your connection to Oswego and beyond. I'm Adam Evans.
And I'm Shayna Nesbitt. President Bush is calling on Democrats to approve money to fund the Iraq war before Christmas holiday. Bush is requesting $196 billion towards the war, but Democrats plan to wait until the next year to spend the money.
President Bush's reasoning for the amount is that it will help the military's job to protect the country. Bush says the American people expect to work together in supporting our troops. Pentagon officials are beginning to say that the military will have to take drastic steps if they don't see the money soon.
And a British teacher is spending 15 days behind bars due to a religious insult. 54-year-old Gillian Gibbons is found guilty by a Sudanese court after she allowed a classroom teddy bear to be named Muhammad. According to the British Foreign Office, the name was part of the school project. The office also added that under the Article 125 of Sudan's constitution that is against the law to insult religion and incite hatred. Gibbons is not happy with the verdict, and her lawyer says that she will most likely try again.
A 2-year-old girl is dead after her stepfather presumably beat her to death for not saying please and yes sir. The body, which was thought to be that of a girl, has been found in Galveston Bay, Texas area. Kimberly Dawn Trenner and the child's mother, and Royce Clyde Ziegler II, the stepfather of the child, were both arrested last Saturday. According to Trenner's statement, the girl was beaten with leather belts, her head held underwater, and then she was thrown across the room. Both Trenner and Ziegler remain in jail on charges of injury to the child and tampering with evidence. And now, first look at the weather.
Well, we've had some interesting weather out here, of course, today. Everyone's watching closely, watching that lake effect snow make its way in. Let's get right down to it. Let's take a look at the regional New York State radar. We can see on that radar the lake effect bands are making their way across Lake Ontario from the west to the east. Typical fashion here. Now, we're going to expect those bands to continue throughout the night, and they are, of course, all snow at this point. No more rain, all lake effect snow. Let's move in a little bit closer and take a look at that band. As we move in closer, you can see Central Oswego County is seeing the worst of it right now. Here in Oswego, on the lake shore, we're only getting a couple flurries out here, but again, expect that band to intensify. And as we move throughout the rest of the evening, let's take a look at where we expect that band to be. Basically, a straight across from the west to the east orientation of that lake effect snow band throughout the overnight hours and into tomorrow early morning. Now, as we look at tomorrow a.m., that lake effect snow band will actually make its way more to the north and start to affect northern parts of Watertown and that area in the North Country. Now, looking at the afternoon, we go into a multi-band scenario with a northwest flow, but looking at your total accumulations through the entire event, we're looking at basically 4 to 8 inches here in Oswego. But again, we'll have more coming up later in the show with your full forecast. For now, back to you guys in the studio.
University news. The Glass Coffin, an original play by SUNY Oswego professor Mark Cole, will premiere in Oswego's Waterman Theater on Sunday, December 2nd at 3 p.m. According to Cole, the play is based on two sources. One is of an old Oswego legend from the year 1900, and the other dwells on a grim fairy tale. Tickets for this one-day-only show are $5, $3 for seniors, and $2 for SUNY Oswego students. To purchase tickets, you can go to Tyler Hall box office on campus, or you can email tickets at oswego.edu. And December graduates will have a new place to celebrate their most important day as a student here at SUNY Oswego, their graduation day. Graduation day ceremonies have been moved from Laker Hall Gymnasium to the Campus Center and will begin at 10 a.m. The School of Business students will be heralded first, followed by the School of Education students and the College of Arts and Sciences students. The reception will be held after the graduation ceremony in the Campus Center Food and Activity Center.
Thanks, Adam. And here are some of the top stories around Central New York. There have been 2 serious rollover crashes within the last 2 days in this area. The first in Onondaga County on Wednesday. Onondaga Sheriff's deputies say that the man whose car rolled over several times in the crash has died. 76-year-old Harold Brunette of Watson Road was heading west on West Taft Road in the town of Clay when his car went off the road and into a ditch. His 2003 Kia kept moving up and out of the ditch and into the intersection of Bear Road, then rolled over several times. Burnett was thrown from the vehicle, landing 20 feet away. He was rushed to University Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police say that the crash is now under investigation and that a medical condition may have been a factor. Now, the second crash was in Oswego County where 2 men were sent to the hospital after a car crash early Thursday morning. The crash happened on Route 37 in Hastings a little before 3 a.m. Oswego County Sheriff's deputies say that the car rolled over multiple times, throwing the passenger, 29-year-old Luke A. Requier of Central Square, into a field 50 feet away from the car. The driver, 30-year-old Eric M. Gladell of West Monroe, will be charged with driving while intoxicated and failure to keep right. Both men were taken to University Hospital, and there's no word yet on their condition.
Coming up after the break, we'll have a look at your main forecast. We'll be right back here on WTOP 10 News Tonight.
Tested for HIV. It's the first step in protecting yourself and those you care about. Get the test. Know your status. Call 1-800-342-AI.
Oh, the life of a weatherman. Just outside, now back inside, warming up just a little bit. But let's take a look. Again, let's get right down to it and take a look at that regional radar picture. We do have that lake effect snow making its way across the county of Oswego and areas to the north. Taking a look at the closer look on that radar. Again, these are actually graphics we were looking at earlier, but we'll do a quick recap here. That lake effect snow band will make its way to the north as we move throughout the afternoon tomorrow and drop back south as we make our way into the afternoon. These are the general snowfall accumulations we're looking at, basically on the range of 2 to 4 to 4 to 8 in our area. Taking a look at your almanac for today, we had a high temperature of 45 degrees. We are currently at the low of 34 degrees here in Oswego, again with some light snow coming down across the area, but a wind chill of 20 degrees. Again, those gusty winds have died down just a little bit, but 33 miles an hour is nothing to scoff at. Of course, it is pretty chilly out there, as you might expect. Taking a look across Oswego County, we do have a pair of 3s down in Hannibal and up in Richland. Mexico's coming in at 32 degrees, and Boylston all the way down to 30 degrees, and expect those temperatures to drop even further as we move throughout the evening. Taking a look across New York State, 51 degrees down in New York City. Seems like miles and miles away to be that warm considering how cold we are up here. But 27 in Jamestown, certainly cooling off to our west, and expect again those temperatures to cool off as we move throughout the rest of the evening and into tomorrow morning. taking a look at your AccuWeather surface picture, we see that we are going to have a cold front moving through here that is located basically across Michigan. That's going to move through the Great Lakes area and mix up that lake effect snow as we move throughout the afternoon tomorrow. So expect it to die down as we move throughout the afternoon. But if you take a look all the way here across the country down in southwestern California, that low pressure system is going to be the focus of a nor'easter that's going to make its way into our area as we move throughout the rest of the weekend. So even though we have some lake effect to deal with now, we have a traditional winter storm to deal with for the latter part of your weekend. So keep that in mind if you plan on doing any traveling. Timing out that storm itself, as we take a look at how that might break down, we see we have basically around 7 a.m. on Sunday morning, we expect the snow and ice to make its way into our area. But basically, we might be expecting just a snow event and maybe upwards of 6 inches just from this storm itself. But again, getting back to what's at hand, we do have watches and warnings for lake effect snow in our area for Oswego, Jefferson, Lewis, and Oneida County, and some advisories further to the west or east out in the Adirondack Mountains. But looking at your forecast for tonight, again, basically on and off lake effect snow is accumulating 3 to 5 inches here in the city of Oswego with a low temperature of 27 degrees. Looking at tomorrow, 39 degrees is our high, but that won't keep the snow from coming down. Expect that snow to continue with an additional 1 to 2 inches, bringing our total somewhere to 4 to 6 inches. And again, tack on maybe another dusting to an inch as that snow starts to drop back south from the Watertown area, making its way towards Syracuse, dropping all the way down to 21 degrees tomorrow night. And as we look forward on to the rest of your extended forecast, take a look at these temperatures and take a look at the snow on this map. I'll tell you what, it finally feels like December around here. And honestly, it's about time, but that's a little too much snow for me. We might actually have to deal with some lake effect snow coming in after the nor'easter on Sunday. So it keeps going, you know. We got a lot of snow coming.
Winter's definitely here now.
Winter is finally here.
It's about time. It's about time, Ryan. Thanks.
Sure.
All right, well, after the break, we'll have a look at what's going on around the world. We'll be right back.
Tested for HIV. It's the first step in protecting yourself and those you care about. Get the test. Know your status. Call 1-800-342-AIDS.
I'm Adam Evans, and here's what's going on around your state. Starting off your top stories from around New York State, we turn to Buffalo, where after 14 years behind bars, Lynn Dijak is a free woman tonight. Dijak was convicted in 1993 of killing her daughter, Crystalline Gerard, in Dijak's South Buffalo home. In light of the new DNA evidence in the case, Judge Michael L. D'Amico released Dijak to be given a new trial, which will begin in 4 to 6 months. Dijak's husband, Chuck Peters, was quoted as saying, "Today is the first day of the rest of her new life." Dijak has been reunited with Peters and her 2 twin sons, Keith and Douglas. According to her, she is confident a new trial will clear her name, and she's ready to move on with the next phase of her life. Dijak's ex-boyfriend, Dennis Donahue, is now a key suspect in the case. He has already been charged with the murder of another woman, Joan Giambra, in 1993, and may be responsible for up to 3 murders in the last 30 years. And news from Hamburg, New York tonight, where a 6-year-old boy is being heralded as a hero for saving the life of his mother, who had gone into diabetic shock. Connor Pelkey called his father first but couldn't reach him, so he dialed 911 and help arrived. His mother, Wendy Pelkey, was unconscious when paramedics arrived. Mrs. Pelkey suffers from diabetes and was also fighting pneumonia at the time of her collapse. Connor and his mom and dad are resting safely tonight in their Hamburg home. And in Fishkill, New York tonight, hip-hop sensation Akon may be hip-hopping his way to jail, since he's been charged with endangering the welfare of a child, a misdemeanor, and second-degree harassment. The charge stems from an incident that took place at a concert held in Poughkeepsie last summer. Akon threw a 15-year-old boy off his stage after confronting him about throwing an object at the singer. The boy landed on a young girl and she suffered a concussion in the incident. And as if college didn't cost enough, the State University of New York system is pondering raising the tuition cost 5% next year for all SUNY academic institutions. The rate hike would raise the in-state tuition from $4,350 per year to $4,570 per year. The State Division of Budget will determine whether to accept the proposal for the SUNY Board of Trustees. The last tuition increase was far more extensive at 28%, and that occurred in 2003. The SUNY system is also asking for a whopping $2.38 billion in funding from the states to go for all SUNY community colleges, universities, and teaching hospitals.
Thanks, Adam. And here's what's happening in your country. It's finally showtime. The Broadway lights will shine again. Stagehands and producers have finally reached a deal on the strike that has shut down 20 shows in 2 weeks. The cast and crews of all Broadway productions have been on strike since November 10th to support stagehands who demanded more pay. An agreement was finally reached Wednesday, and shows are expected to take the stage again starting Thursday. Charlotte St. Martin, the head of the League of American Theaters and Producers, says that they have come to a good compromise, but that the most important thing is that Broadway will not be dark tonight. It's not all good news, however. The strike did force some big-name shows like The Grinch, Wicked, Hairspray, and Chicago to close for good. And missing mother Stacey Peterson is said to have told a clergyman in August that her husband admitted to killing his third wife, Kathleen Savio. The Chicago Sun-Times reports that someone close to the Peterson case says that Stacey also told 2 others about her husband, Drew Peterson's dirty doings. Savio was found dead in her bathtub back in 2004. Her remains were recently examined by New York City Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Michael Baden, who says Savio was murdered. Stacey Peterson has been missing for about a month. Her husband, Drew Peterson, is the only suspect. And let the political games begin. Republican presidential hopefuls did not waste any time taking stabs at one another on a CNN cyber debate on YouTube Wednesday night. Former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney and former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani got into a heated battle about immigration, abortion, and gun control. National poll frontrunner Giuliani accused Romney of allowing illegal immigrants to work in the U.S. Romney fired back by saying it would be un-American to check on those employees just for having a different accent. Romney apparently had landscapers working on his home who turned out to be in the country illegally. But it's up for you to decide when you go to the polls starting next month. And no relief in sight for soaring gas prices that rose more than $3 Thursday after a deadly pipeline fire that happened Wednesday. The pipeline carrying crude oil from Canada into the U.S. along the Enbridge energy pipeline in northern Minnesota. The fire left 2 workers dead who were working on repairs at the time of the fire. The pipelines carry an average of 1.5 million barrels of crude oil into the country every day, which is used for gasoline and home heating oil. The fire has shut down 5 of those pipelines.
Thanks, Shayna. Now here a look at what's going on around your world. Terrorist mastermind Osama bin Laden released an audio message today which began airing on Al Jazeera TV. He called on Europeans to stop helping the United States in their critical war on terrorism in Afghanistan. In his usual egotistical fashion, bin Laden went on to say that he alone is responsible for the 9/11 terrorist attacks in the Pentagon in Washington and the World Trade Center in New York. He said the reason for the attacks were retaliation for the American-Israeli alliance against our people in Lebanon and Palestine. According to bin Laden, American troops have been intentionally killing women and children, civilians, in Afghanistan. A U.S. State Department spokesman described the quote from bin Laden as typical tactics. Slovakian police have seized material that would be used in a radiological dirty bomb. 3 people tried to sell weapons-grade uranium in powdered form. 2 of the suspects are from Hungary and 1 from the Ukraine. They apparently plan to sell the uranium on the black market for $1 million. According to Richard Hoskins of the International Atomic Agency, if the bomb were to be detonated, quote, the consequences would be so catastrophic that the world would be a different place the next day, unquote. Slovak police believe the material may have come from Russia. Surprisingly, this isn't the first time this has happened. In 2006, 252 similar cases have been reported by the nuclear watchdog group.
Thanks, Adam. And now for your Hollywood report. Famous speed dater Jennifer Love Hewitt is finally ready to settle down. U.S. Weekly reports that J. Love is engaged to her Scottish boyfriend Ross McCall. McCall is the star of CBS's The Ghost Whisperer. The former Party of Fiver has hooked up with the likes of John Mayer and Carson Daly. No word yet on the couple's wedding plans. And bam, just like that, no more Emerald live. The TV chef Emerald Lagasse, who has been spicing up the kitchen on the Food Network for the last 10 years, will cook his last meal December 11th. There is no specific reason why the show was canceled. The Food Network's publicist Carrie Welch simply said that the show has reached so many milestones that eventually all good things must come to an end. But Emerald won't leave the network for good. He will still continue his show, The Essence of Emerald, and of course, Emerald can still be enjoyed through reruns. This has been your Hollywood Report.
Now, I think the real hard question is, what's Emerald's musician Doc Gibbs going to do now that the show is over? I'm a Michael Sciarello fan anyway. But let's take a look. We got some important weather going on right now. As we take a look at those headlines, we have a lot of snow coming our way, starting tonight with some lake effect and working our way into a nor'easter on Sunday, and maybe even some heavier lake effect snow as we make our way further into the beginning part of next week. But taking a look at your Class Day forecast, starting out at 27 degrees at 8 a.m. with those lake effect snow bands continuing to make our way into our area. 33 degrees at your 11:30 class, making its way up to 39 degrees, and wouldn't be surprised to see a peak of sunshine as we make our way into the afternoon. But taking a look at your weekend forecast again, lots more snow coming our way. Temperatures mainly in the 30s to maybe the 20s on Saturday. So that's the take a look at your forecast. We'll be back after the break with your sports.
Hey, what's up? We're Hawthorne Heights, and you're watching WTOP 10, your television.
Hi. Being there for kids is super good fun.
All it takes is a little know-how. Curiosity. The key to a lifetime of discovery.
Kids will go to mighty great lengths to impress you.
Kids know what's cool. Good thing you don't have to. Moments like these happen every day.
Lend your support. Go to bigbrothersbigsisters.org.
Until next time.
Good evening, Oswego. This is Jamie Mitchell with tonight's sport update. We begin tonight with the National Football League, and police have announced that they suspect the fatal shooting of Washington Redskins safety Sean Taylor was a random burglary, with no indications the player was targeted or knew his assailant. Director of the Miami-Dade County Police Department, Robert Parker, said evidence at Taylor's home indicates one or more intruders barged into his house early Monday in an attempted burglary. Taylor was shot once in the upper leg and died early Tuesday after losing a tremendous amount of blood from the confrontation. Despite the claims from police that the attack was random, friends have publicly stated that Taylor had many enemies on the streets of Miami and that the attack was an intentional one. We stay with the NFL, and millions of fans will be unable to see tonight's blockbuster between Green Bay and Dallas. Both teams are 10-1 this season, and the winner will be in the driver's seat for a home field advantage in the NFC playoffs. But the game will be available to less than 40% of TV homes. Only subscribers to the NFL Network will be able to access the game. And finally tonight to NBA, and Los Angeles Lakers coach Phil Jackson has agreed to terms to a 2-year contract extension worth about $24 million, putting him under contract through to the 2009-2010 season. A Lakers spokesman confirmed the agreement with Jackson, and a formal contract will be discussed on Thursday. The 62-year-old Jackson signed a 5-year, $30 million contract with the Lakers in June 1999 and coached them to 3 championships before they lost to the San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference semifinals in 2003 and were beaten by Detroit in the NBA Finals in 2004. Jackson and the team parted ways in June 2004 as he took a year off before signing a 3-year, $30 million contract, the richest deal for an NBA coach in 2005. In other news tonight, Cleveland Cavaliers forward LeBron James has sprained his left index finger. He's a day-to-day prospect after he injured himself in the second quarter of Wednesday's 109-74 loss to Detroit. James underwent an MRI at Toronto, which confirmed the sprain, and a decision will be made before Friday's game against the Raptors, whether he will play. That's all we have for sports tonight. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Tested for HIV. It's the first step in protecting yourself and those you care about. Get the test. Know your status. Call 1-800-342-AI.
And now, here's Priya Ramanjan with tonight's report.
Are you afraid of the F word? Are you scared of girls and women who relate to it? No, this is not the F word you're talking about. I'm talking about feminists. Feminism has often been relegated to a negative concept throughout history, and mostly even in present time. The movie, I Was a Teenage Feminist, played tonight, November 29th at Poucher Hall. It aimed to make people laugh while identifying why the word feminism makes people cringe. Filmmaker Schechter took a personal journey into the world of feminism in the 21st century. Therese talked with feminist superstars, frat boys, Cosmo girls, and radical cheerleaders, all in a quest to find out whether feminism can still be a source of personal and political power. So don't be afraid of the F word. Embrace it as feminism that has given us something else to be proud of, freedom.
All right, thank you, Priya. And recapping tonight's news, a British teacher is behind bars because of a classroom teddy being named Muhammad.
And Bush is looking to find more money towards the war in Iraq.
And we've got an interesting weather situation shaping up for the rest of the night. Keep an eye on those radars. And keep an eye this tomorrow morning when you wake up. You might have to throw on some boots and make your way out into the snow. Could be a little bit of a mess here in the city of Oswego.
All right, and Jamie, in news, sad news with Sean Taylor and the Redskins there down in Washington.
Definitely, and I think the sad thing is that we're going to get the real story this week. A lot of his close friends have really told us what they think has happened. We know that he has had a difficult past. He was coming good. Unfortunately, I hope that it wasn't something that was predetermined, and we hope that it was something just unfortunate.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Jamie. And as we near the end of our semester, there's a few behind-the-scenes people that we'd like to thank. Matt, John, Sean, Dave, Jenna.
And also Claire Lindsay, our news director here, Lonnie Krause, Joe Pacheco, and Glenn Patterson. It's Glenn's last broadcast here. Glenn has been here for 3 years now, and he's been a great job. He was the former head meteorologist here, so Glenn Patterson, excellent job here at WTOP. Jamie, it's your last newscast as well. You're going back to Australia?
I'm going home. It's summertime now. I'm going to have to get the sun lotion on and not get sunburned.
And it's the last broadcast here
All right, thank you for joining us.
Hewitt Union.
See you next semester.
Bye, Hewitt Union, and we'll see you next semester.
Let's wrap it up.
For Jamie Mitchell, I'm Matt.
Hi. Being there for kids.